I'm here on the Gamescom show floor with Simon Cardy.
Hello.
Who has done something that every Xbox player has been wishing they could do for what, 15, 16 years? And that is play a new Fable game. You've done it.
I've played a new Fable game. I have not only played a new quest from Fable that was combat heavy, I've seen the developers play a new quest from Fable that was more story-led and more kind of typical Fable. Should we start with the combat? Because that's kind of where the newer stuff is.
Yeah, absolutely. Because is it that different from sort of Fable 2, 3? Because they had a very strange sort of one-button Molyneux combat system. Is that gone?
Yes. This is very much a more modern combat system, I'd say. So I got to play even the same mission twice through with different loadouts, but both with the same primary weapon, which is like a big old like two-handed hammer, which I got to swing into some like skeleton creatures that had wraiths flying out of them. It also worked on the wraiths, so the physical damage works on ghosts. That is confirmed. There's a headline for you there. Yeah. But I also had a bow and arrow, which was a great little ranged weapon to use, and it felt good too. It had really nice feedback on the triggers. It definitely didn't feel like that one-button combat, like really simplistic combat we're used to in Fable. It felt more like a developed modern like action adventure should feel, which was really pleasing, because that was my kind of one question mark. I was kind of sold on the tone of this Fable and like the story it's trying to tell, but combat was a real question mark. And I also liked that it didn't, I haven't had this confirmed yet, but it didn't really seem like you have to like specialize in a class, or you still have all your spells, which if you hold on the right trigger, you can select one of 4 different spells.
Okay.
And so you can mix and match, and there's like great synergy I think you can achieve using those spells.
Okay. All right, so talking about the tone, I think being a completely new developer, a completely new team, I think originally there was a bit of skepticism as to whether they could capture that, but everything they've shown has really sort of shown that they actually can harness that, that beautiful vibe.
I think Playground really get that, and I saw that kind of in both of the things I saw. So just briefly touching on combat again, one of the spells you could turn the enemies into a chicken. Yeah. You kind of Fable about chickens, and you can do different things with that chicken. So you can either just punt it, you can hit the chicken, a classic. If you happen to turn one of those undead skeletons into a chicken, it will become an undead chicken. Yeah. Then if you throw a fireball onto that chicken, it becomes a roast chicken. It's just silly. I like it. Yeah. And Fable needs to be silly. Like, I'm not looking for a groundbreaking story. Maybe this will move me. Maybe I'll end up in a flood of tears. But I feel that's more likely through laughter than through any sort of real deep sadness when it comes to Albion.
You know, they kept doing all these sort of tone pieces that felt, they were demonstrating. They're like, we get Fable. We're not just car people. We get, like, But then they did the trailer with Hayley Atwell, and her trailer was very like sort of dark and bringing in that kind of more sinister side to Fable that's always kind of been there as well. So, but you saw a quest today where you had to help Humphrey deal with Slick Ronnie, but Slick Ronnie sounds like a euphemism, as all beautiful British names do.
Yeah. It kind of sounds like a Lonely Island song. But it followed on from sort of the main quest, the outset of Fable, the establishing story moment that we know about is this Hayley Atwell villainess character called Isabel has gone to your home village and turned everyone to stone. So now you are the hero who has gone to Bowerstone, which is the capital of Albion, which looks absolutely beautiful, by the way. It looks stunning. Seeing it on that screen in like full motion on ultra settings looked absolutely gorgeous. And basically, you have to go to the Heroes Guild, which is where Humphrey the Golden is living. And he used to be a legend, right? But he's down on his luck. He's basically turned into an alcoholic. Basically, the first, this is a game full of choices, big and small choices, and the first choice you have is you basically walk into his home and he's like in a stupor, and he basically says, "Large beer." That's all he says. Yeah. And you pick up a tankard from the sideboard and you have a choice. You're like, do we give him the drink, or do you throw it over him to try and rouse him? Yeah. The devs chose to throw it over him. Unkind, but maybe, maybe warranted. And basically, I love that.
Maybe a bit of tough love.
Exactly. I love that in this game, basically, whenever you make a choice, on the side, it will have a plus or minus how someone feels about you. Yeah. And all that popped up on the left-hand side of the screen was plus arsehole. So, Humphrey at that point thought we were an arsehole, but we had to go help him, and that led us to Slick Ronnie, who has basically won the deeds to the guild building. in a gambling, I don't know what gambling match it was, I can't quite remember. But
gambling match.
Gambling match. What are those gambling matches? You know when you go one-on-one roulette with someone? But yeah, basically Humphrey's been careless of that, so we had to go and steal those from Slick Ronnie, whose lair is in a pub, and there's a bit of pick-locking, a bit of bribery that had to be done. So it's not all combat. It seems like you can maybe circumvent quite a bit of combat in this game by being charming or like scheming, which I really like, because although I found the combat really fluid and slick to use, I kind of do just want, I like in RPGs like this to talk my way out of as many holes as I can.
Yeah, you know, a lot of RPGs play beautifully when you throw all your points into speech and, you know, and you talk your way out of stuff, and that's often where the real juice is. Fable originally, like, you know, the classic trilogy, which is brilliant and I love it, but it is very like, go and kill this guy or go and batter something. So it's great to hear that it's got some of that, you know, much more kind of, you've got some choices, you've got a bit of fluidity to how you can solve things. That's awesome.
I'm really looking forward to it now. I feel like it's one where I was already really looking forward to Fable, but as we said, I kind of had those initial doubts maybe of like, okay, it's a new studio, they've only, as you said, only done driving games before, like they're having to build combat from the ground, they've never done it before. They might have brought in people that may have helped with that, but like, it really is they've never really had to do combat before. They've had to really build it from the ground up. And I've kind of like, after playing it only for like half an hour or so and seeing this new quest, most of my fears have kind of been allayed. I'm now like really looking forward to this
game. I think that's kind of been the story of this whole project, you know? People really did think initially, like, are these really the right people to make this new Fable? And it seems like everything they've shown has been about breaking down those preconceptions everybody had and going, no, actually they get it. So it's great to hear that, like, the combat sounds fantastic, and we know the humor's there, we know everything else is there. So at this point, it's just a case of, you know, bring it out.
Yeah, can it sustain it over the course of, I don't know, 30 hours? I don't know, that's just a guess. I don't know how long the game's going to be. You suspect something like that. But yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And like in any Fable game, right, it's not even just about the quest and the story. Just even like walking around Bowerstone and just like there's over 30 businesses there which you can kind of take over in like in Fable games, like tattoo parlors, hairdressers, clothing shops. Like you can customize it all to your heart's content and have whatever family you want as well. It's you know, we were playing in the demo as a female hero who had a spouse called Elliot and a daughter called Daisy, and we went to their home and met them and they seemed lovely. And you know what? I think the passion was still alive because you know, we were walking away from the house and Elliot, in the distance you could hear him just go, oof, I'm glad I married all of that. So, you know, a level of charm there that really only I think the British can provide.
It's so wholesome, but also like a little bit cheeky with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what you need. Yeah, it's come a long way from, you know, James Corden cameos, thankfully. But yeah, it just sounds like Fable. So I can't wait.
No, I'm very excited. Be excited.
Yeah, be excited. That's how we're finishing this. Be excited.